Hello, and welcome back to my GTNH playthrough. It is Friday, July 3rd, and over here in the crop building, wasn't planning on making any videos this weekend, but actually got quite a bit done this morning. Played more last night, and crops are a lot easier than I realized, so figured I would knock this out now, so whatever I do for the rest of the weekend, it doesn't turn Monday into a million hours long. But basically, the whole reason I hopped back to crops was to be able to start crafting the swarm modules again. And the reason I'd stopped being able to craft the swarm modules was because of the steel leaf requirement to get there. And you can see I have 4,000 now, and I already have I just fired this one off, so we're making plenty of steel leaf at this point, which is good. And to get there, I basically had to do a few things. Nothing, like I said, it was nothing too crazy. I want to almost be surprised if these get like nerfed a little bit, because they almost feel too easy. Now, mind you, obviously in UIV, so have tools that you wouldn't have in MV and stuff, which do save a lot of time, and I'm thankful for. For example, I basically, well, actually, here, we'll just go with. So the way I started was I pretty much just started going through the quest book, Green Revolution. Right here, crop sticks I obviously had. I got myself this new reinforced spade. No big deal there. I haven't done the quest because I just went right for the reinforced watering can, which works like the old one. Just gives you right click with it and gives a water stat to the plant. And then from there, the first things it's asked for is potato and carrot. And you basically just like plant a potato and a carrot, let it grow a few times, and then right click with a spade, see if you get the seeds. Now, had I known what I know now, that was actually one of the longer parts for me, because I didn't realize or think about world accelerators being able to affect crop sticks. So I would have just thrown down a world accelerator, thrown a potato in there, and basically instantly after a couple tries, because it has a 1-1-1 stat, so it's a pretty low chance of it. I think it only drops a seed on like every 10%. Without the world accelerators, they grow pretty slow. Even they're growing slow enough that I immediately started using fertilizer. And that didn't speed it up very much. I was using bone meal to start with. And then yesterday I showed it off, but I had set up a quick little thing, which is basically just this chemical reactor and the extractor to go. This guy crafts fertilizer, this guy extracts it, and then this guy crafts enhanced fertilizer, which are all what these two blocks are. The last thing for today for for little passive setups, this brewery and this macerator are what I set up for Weedex, which is also the same thing as poisonous brew. Now, I thought this part was going to take me longer, because if you look at poisonous brew, somewhere in here, poisonous brew, the default one it shows when you open up NEI is the bacterial vat, which you need regenerating brew, which you need to go through brewery twice, and you need to have an input item, which is what made me look around a little more. Instead, you can use this poison powder to make poisonous brew. The poison powder literally just comes from grinding up mushrooms, poison potatoes, or spider eyes. Spider eyes we can get real easily from Extreme Entity Crusher. Plus, I had one running for a while, so you can see I have 47 million. Now, I haven't set up the Extreme Entity Crusher for Spider yet, which I will at some point. I mean, I have plenty of stuff in the backlog, but just to make sure I don't run out, because I was at 75 million a few hours ago, so I went through a lot to get to that point. But Spider Eyes in, get crushed, they come over here, mix with some water, and boom, we got Weedex. So all three of those those two liquids being the enhanced fertilizer, the Weedex, and then obviously the last one's just water, which we have just unlimited amounts of water everywhere. So that's these guys right here. So originally I used to breed over here. I moved over to here because this guy I wasn't thinking about before. Before I upgraded this to the UIV version, I had the HV, maybe. I can't remember which one was there. Basically, whichever one got to this point and it wasn't affecting these guys, because, I had crops growing here, and when I was breeding stuff, I didn't want to have that guy harvesting it. But yeah, so after all that, you start going through, and Steel Leaf is specifically after this nightly snack thing. But to get here, you're locked behind your first... No, it's not this one. You're locked here, which is... right here. You're locked behind getting a 31, 31, 31 stat. So resistance, I believe, didn't have much effect in the past. I don't quote me, but now if your resistance is the same as your growth, you won't spread weeds. So it recommends doing potato, which is exactly what I did. And then I used these world accelerators, and with the world accelerators, it made it a very, very fast process. So basically I had 2 potato plants going, grew them real quick with the world accelerator, put cross sticks here, got one with a higher stat, right clicked it a few times till I had 2 seeds, removed those, regrew with the new seeds using the world accelerators, got the crossbred one, rinse and repeat over and over till I got 31, 31. With me like proactively doing it, it only took, I want to say, like 10 minutes, not even, and that might even be an overestimate. Obviously, this would be the part that if you're an MV, you wouldn't have good access to, is the world accelerators, but it really makes life so much faster and easier. Right now, I can actually turn these guys off. I'm playing Steel Leaf. So, once I got the 31, 31 stat, I started to try to be smarter about breeding. So a lot of the things, say like Steel Leaf Franks, you can breed using crop sticks in the traditional way, or you can throw them in a crop breeder like so. As well as you can like make crops really easy as well. So basically, once you get to 31, 31, you throw one of each one of those seeds into, or at least into 2, 3, 4. Now this is overkill. I didn't realize when I set these up. I should have tested before I crafted extra, but I assume the data orbs were consumed when you crafted a new crop. That is not the case. So once you make a data orb for 31 growth, gain, and resistance, you don't need this. You don't need to do this. You only need one of these, and then at that point you just leave one on specimen. And honestly, every time you get a new seed, you should just make a specimen data orb, throw it over here, get some extra, and then I move. Originally, all my seeds and stuff were in an old, like, one of the little file cabinet open blocks box. I did made a separate little network over here just to store all the random seeds and stuff. So then from there, it was just a matter of following the NEI trail up to Steel Leaf, which, for the most part, it's kind of cheaty for me, it felt like, because, I shouldn't say cheaty, but is because I had done, you can see from the random blocks here, a lot of the old way, way back in like HV, EV era of my playthrough. I had a lot of random seeds, so like once I had my 31, 31 stat, I just tried to be smart about it and be like, okay, drop the seed in here, get the specimen, come over here, get the 31, 31, 31, use those for breedings. There were a couple of times where I like fall in the habit of like, okay, now I got to go up here and do. So I was like, no, I don't need to do it. You don't need to do any of that. With a couple like weird exceptions I found, basically everything can be done across these blocks. Like for example, this replicator can't replicate Steel Leaf seeds. So if I want more for the last part of this, I would need to sit up here and right click them. But the very final part of all this, so after I got the Steel Leaf seeds, and which didn't take very long, I set up an industrial farm. Now it's got a bunch of modules and everything is tiered on it, including the dirt beds down here. I basically just grabbed one of every module, or so this advanced harvesting one, you can have 2. This environmental enhancement one, you can have 2, and then the rest are just one, and you fill them in with wood blocks. Currently, I have 144 seeds in here. I just kind of got bored right-clicking for seeds pretty fast, so figured that would be fine for now. If I need more, obviously, it's going to be real quick and easy to scale this up. And then on the backside, the output's filtered so it doesn't blow up the ME network. Then we got the same 3 inputs as like that little block up there. It does appear like this can only take 1 seed type, so that's interesting. But so at some point I'll probably do more, but with how easy this is, I will actually be more amicable to making crops and seeds for like any passive resources that I ever need to in the future, versus how I was before, where I was like, it's a crop, screw it, I'll find another way. So yeah, just real quick video going over this. As I said, I'm in UIV, so a lot of the random trials and tribulations I've probably skipped over. Feel like if you can make these blocks, even in the MV and HV versions and stuff, like it'll speed up your time a lot, and use whatever world accelerators you have access to just to save yourself time. Because remember, resources are infinite, time is not. So anything you can do to speed it up. But anyways, appreciate anybody's watching. Hope you guys have a good weekend, and I will see you Monday. Goodbye.